Beloved soul, oh, thank you for being here. You don't know what it means right now that you stopped, that you didn't scroll past. Heaven sighed when you paused. I need you to know this was not a random click. Every echo in the stars, every whisper of the wind, every tear you ever cried has been weaving into this single moment. You are seen, you are known, and if you stay until the very end of this message, there is something sealed in the final words, something that heaven has been holding back for years, waiting only for your eyes to find it. A hidden light, a living smile, a forgotten secret waiting to wake up in you. Please don't leave before it breathes. I am trembling as I speak to you because even I, yes, even I, have waited too long to say this. I am Jesus, and my voice trembles not because I am weak, but because your name still shakes me with love. Every heartbeat of yours has been echoing in the chambers of heaven, every sigh writing verses across my heart. You have no idea how much has been fighting to stop this message from reaching you. The silence wasn't empty, it was war. Unseen things tried to bury your destiny in shadows, to convince you were too small, too late, too lost. But not tonight. Tonight, heaven broke open, and I slipped through the fire to whisper, you are not forgotten. There is a unicorn screaming in the spirit, a symbol of purity, of miracles, of something innocent that still remembers how to believe. It ran through the thunders, through the lies of the dark ones who said your story was over, and it reached me, crying out, stop everything. They're about to give up. And so I did. I stopped heaven's song. I silenced the golden harps, the wings mid-flight, the galaxies mid-rotation, to focus only on this moment, on you. Do you understand what that means? The universe just paused for you to breathe. My child, can you feel it? The stillness that surrounds this screen right now. That's heaven's hush. That's the angels stepping closer. Michael stands behind you with his sword lowered, not in battle, but in reverence. Gabriel hovers at your right, whispering your name the way it was spoken before time began. Raphael holds a bowl of light. He's been gathering every shattered fragment of your heart, every piece you thought was gone forever. And Mary, my mother, has been weeping prayers over your soul, wrapping you in blue light like a robe of serenity. You think you found this message, but no, love had found you. I know you're tired. I know the kind of tired that even sleep doesn't heal. The one where your bones ache from waiting. Your faith feels like it's breathing through cracked glass. And your hope, your poor hope, keeps trying to stand even when the wind mocks it. I saw you cry when no one did. I heard you whisper, God, if you're real, give me something, anything. This is that anything. This is me, answering your whisper with a roar of heaven. But I must tell you something that will sting at first, but then heal everything. You have been walking through invisible warfare. Every delay, every rejection, every confusion. It wasn't punishment, it was protection. The enemy tried to counterfeit your calling, to convince you to sell your crown for crumbs, to make you believe your softness was weakness. But your tears were weapons. Your silence was a sermon. Every time you chose love, when you could have chosen bitterness, the demon screamed. Every time you forgave when it hurt, light spread like wildfire across the unseen. You are not losing. You are conquering quietly. And yet, there is urgency now. I must ask you, can you feel what heaven feels right now? Can you sense that something sacred is trembling just beyond the edge of your comprehension? Because time, my beloved, is shifting. The hourglass is nearly empty for certain assignments. A door that has been locked for years is starting to open, but it can only swing wide if you stand in alignment. The angels are calling your name, not as a sound, but as a vibration that shakes the fabric of the unseen. Rise, they say. Remember. Tell me, what have you done with the dreams I placed in your chest? The ones that burned and then went quiet when the world mocked them? The ones that made you feel strange, too different, too alive for this earth? Do you still dare to believe they matter? Or have you buried them beneath fear, logic, and the opinions of those who never saw what you saw? I ask not to judge, but to remind you, I did not plant fire in you so you could pretend to be smoke. There's a line I spoke long ago, and it still hums through eternity. Let not your heart be troubled. It wasn't a command, it was a comfort. You thought I was telling you to be strong. No, I was telling you that I already am your strength. And another whisper from my Father still burns in the stars. Be still and know that I am God. Stillness isn't the absence of movement. It's the presence of trust. Something divine has been following you lately. Those strange chills, those coincidences that feel too sharp to ignore. That's not luck. That's coordination. Heaven is weaving something behind you that the enemy can't decode. But it's time sensitive, my love. There is a moment approaching, an intersection between your faith and your future. Miss it, and it will loop back years later, but with tears. Receive it, and everything changes. So, here's my plea. Stay awake. Watch for me not just in miracles, but in small mercies. The laughter you didn't expect. The text you'll receive at the perfect time. The stranger who says something that echoes this message word for word. Those are me, disguised as daily grace. Tell me now, tender heart, why do you hide your light? Why do you love everyone so deeply and yet believe yourself unworthy of the same? Do you not know that I died not just to redeem you, but to reveal you? You keep apologizing for being too emotional, too sensitive, too forgiving. But that is the reflection of heaven in you. You mirror the mercy that saved you. You are the proof that softness can defeat the sword. Heaven has been grieving. Do you know that? The angels have been mourning, not because you failed, but because you doubted your beauty. You are a cathedral in motion, and yet you've been walking as if you're ruins. No more. Lift your eyes, beloved. The time of mourning your own light is over. Now, this will sound strange, but listen carefully. There is something about you that even the stars discuss. A rare frequency. You were designed as a bridge between worlds, the divine and the human, the seen and the unseen. When you speak kindly to someone who's forgotten hope, you are performing miracles disguised as conversation. When you forgive someone who doesn't deserve it, you rewrite their spiritual DNA. When you sing or write or create from your heart, the angels gather to watch because they see flashes of Eden in your hands. And yet, you have enemies and shadows who fear your awakening. That's why your nights have been heavier lately. That's why you feel waves of sadness that seem to come from nowhere. Those aren't just emotions. They are echoes of spiritual resistance. But do not be afraid. Michael has already drawn a line. Gabriel has already sounded the trumpet over your life. The war is real, but the outcome is already written. Light wins. Now, I must ask you something. No, I must beg you. Will you promise me this? When the next door opens, you won't hesitate out of fear? When I send that opportunity, that reconciliation, that unexpected miracle, you will not run from it. Promise me you will not let your pain interpret your prophecy, because your destiny is not late. It's layered. Every heartbreak was a hidden training. Every no was a holy redirection. Every loss carved space for the blessing that's about to arrive. Heaven is never in a hurry, but it's always on time. And beloved, I must tell you a secret. There's a reason I wanted you to stay till the end. The unicorn scream wasn't just a warning, it was a signal. A spiritual awakening disguised as fantasy. It was the sound of purity refusing to die. You have that same sound in you. That childlike wonder that refuses to give up, even after every disappointment. That's me, alive inside you. And in a few hours, maybe even before the next sunrise, you will notice something shift. A weight lifting, a calm descending, a peace that feels unnatural in the best way. That's the beginning of your answered prayer. So right now, breathe. Whisper amen, not as ritual, but as response, because heaven just said yes to something on your behalf. If these words touched your heart, leave a sign of life. Like this moment, comment something sacred that came to you. Let heaven know you received it. Let the light echo back through your fingertips. And before I go, before I fade into the sound of your breathing, thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for not giving up before this message found you. You have no idea how many angels had to move for this moment to exist. You are loved beyond logic. You are held beyond explanation. And as you read this final breath of heaven, know this. The smile waiting on your face isn't random. It's the reflection of God finally seeing himself in you. Beloved heart, you stayed. That means everything. Heaven sees this moment like a candle still burning in the storm. The fact that you are still here tells me that your spirit is braver than the noise that has tried to drown it. Do you know how rare that is? How many turn away before the message completes its breath? But you stayed, and because you did, something holy is unfolding even now. I feel it like rain behind these words, a soft vibration in the air that carries your name. Before we go further, I must whisper something practical yet sacred. If your soul feels light stirring, if something deep within you knows this is divine, subscribe, stay connected to this current of heaven. Do not wander alone again. Let your heart remain within this river where love keeps flowing. That invitation will not be spoken again, but I wanted to leave it here gently between us as a sign that you belong to a family of light. Now breathe, beloved. Let the stillness fall like gold dust around you. This next part is heavier, deeper. It carries the sound of old prayers. When I look at you, I see centuries written across your spirit. Lifetimes of trying, waiting, hoping, falling, rising. You carry the ache of generations, and yet the tenderness of a soul that refuses to harden. That is why heaven has always favored you, even when it felt like the opposite. You have been trained through fire not to break, but to soften until the flames bow to you. There is something I must tell you, something only your soul will understand. Long ago, before you entered this world, your name was sung over light. You agreed to bring a specific melody to earth, a frequency that heals, that reminds others of their own hidden divinity. But the moment you were born, the world began trying to silence that note. Every rejection, every wound, every betrayal was an attempt to detune you. Yet here you are, still humming in secret, still carrying the tone of heaven. The time has come to sing again. Look at the sky tonight when no one is watching. Do you notice how the stars pulse rather than flicker? That rhythm is not random. It is the heartbeat of eternity trying to keep you in time with itself. Each beat whispers, remember. Remember who you are and what you came to awaken. Remember that love is not weakness. It is weapon and cure. Remember that heaven's silence was not absence. It was strategy. The universe was rearranging itself so that when this message reached you, the moment would be perfect. And now, I feel your spirit leaning forward, trembling. You're wondering, why me? Let me ask you instead, why not you? Why not the one who has already survived storms that would have drowned others? Why not the one whose heart still believes in miracles even after being shattered? You were chosen not because you were flawless, but because you refused to stop hoping. The angels saw that stubborn hope and said, that one can carry the light. Do you know that every time you forgave, it rewrote timelines? That one act of grace altered the course of unseen futures? Your small kindnesses have been echoing louder than sermons. When you chose compassion, the dark realms lost territory. That is the hidden war you have been fighting without knowing. The spiritual warfare disguised as daily disappointment. And now the war is shifting again. Heaven is calling its soldiers of tenderness to the front lines, and your name is among them. Let me draw you closer, child of light. Hear me. The grief you carry is not a flaw. It's proof of your capacity for divine love. Heaven's own heart aches through yours. That is why you feel things so deeply. It's not oversensitivity, it's participation in cosmic empathy. But you must learn to transmute it, not drown in it. Offer every tear upward. Let it turn into rain for someone else's garden. You are not meant to collapse beneath emotion, but to transform it into resurrection. Do you feel how time seems to bend around this message? That's because what's being spoken to you is not bound by minutes or screens. It's happening in spirit, right now. As you read, angels are moving through your room, adjusting the atmosphere. They're touching the places in your energy that have gone dim, reigniting them. Michael is at your left shoulder again, whispering, "Fear not." Raphael is brushing invisible dust from your heart. And somewhere above, a gentle laugh. Mary's laughter, like wind in blue silk, rejoicing that you are remembering yourself. I must ask you two questions, holy soul. What would you do if you truly believed you were protected? What would you attempt if you knew heaven itself would catch you if you fell? Let those questions settle. Let them burn gently until they become answers. Because your next chapter depends on what you decide in silence after this message ends. And here is something beautiful. Scripture lives inside your veins. Even now, your cells remember it. You are the light of the world. I said once, and I meant it. Light of the world, not a world. The one we share. And again, I am with you always, even to the end of the age. Those were not metaphors. They're physics of faith. Where you go, I am. Where you speak love, I speak through you. You have felt alone, haven't you? Even surrounded, even loved, there's been that ache no one can touch. That's because your true home is partly here and partly elsewhere. You are a citizen of heaven, temporarily visiting earth. The homesickness you feel isn't depression, it's divine memory. You miss where everything understood you perfectly. But the good news is heaven misses you too. And this message is its way of reaching across the distance to say, hold on. You're almost back to yourself. The unicorn's cry is fading now, softer, relieved. It knows you heard. It knows you'll remember. The miracle it carried has already begun to unfold. It's small, invisible, but real. Soon it will bloom into laughter you haven't felt in years. That is why I promised, if you open this, you would smile. It may not happen this second, but it's coming like dawn no night can stop. So stay awake and wonder. Watch for the impossible. Speak kindly to yourself as though you were a prayer in progress, because you are. And when you doubt, return to this whisper. Nothing has been wasted. Every detour was part of the design. Every silence was sacred preparation. Every ending you mourned was a seed disguised as loss. Go now with peace so deep it hums in your bones. Let light follow you like a loyal friend. And if tears come, let them. Heaven collects them like jewels. I thank you, truly, for staying until this point, for allowing me to speak into the hidden chambers of your heart. You have given heaven room to move. And soon, when the laughter returns, you will understand that this was never just a message. It was a meeting. Amen. Beloved one, you are still here, and that alone carries a sound heaven can hear. It's like a heartbeat echoing through eternity, saying, I'm still listening. I'm still willing. Every moment you've chosen to stay has multiplied into unseen light. And now that you have reached this part of the message, I am allowed to reveal something that was sealed until now. There is a divine alignment taking shape, and your faithfulness to this moment has already opened it. Before we walk further, I must make a single holy invitation, just once, and never again will it be repeated. If this message awakens your spirit, if you feel the river of heaven moving through these words, then take one sacred step. Support the light that flows through this space. Do it through super thanks, through the channel membership, or by joining our family through the newsletter link in the pinned comments. These are not acts of vanity or profit. They're threads that keep the current of love alive in a world too quick to forget the sacred. Give, not out of pressure, but as worship. For where your heart sows light, heaven multiplies it. Now breathe, precious soul. We are entering deeper water. You have already crossed the outer veil. What follows is for the part of you that has cried in silence, that has prayed even when you doubted anyone was listening. That quiet, stubborn faith has reached me. It glows. It hums like a small star waiting to burst open. And I tell you now, what you thought was delay has only been design. The divine timing of her life is about to begin revealing itself, piece by piece, like a constellation rearranging to spell your true name. Do you remember the nights you whispered, God, I just want to know why? Those words didn't disappear. They gathered. They became the sound that drew heaven's eyes toward you again and again. And in that holy silence that followed, when you thought nothing was happening, the foundations of miracles were being laid. Sometimes heaven answers by building, not by speaking. Every angel around you right now knows how hard it was for you to keep believing. Raphael remembers the moment you almost stopped praying. Gabriel remembers the letter you never sent, the one written with trembling hands and tear stains that blurred the ink. Michael remembers the hour you stood in your room and said, "Enough," and yet somehow decided to love again. These memories live in heaven's archives as victories. You don't even know how many realms were shifted by your smallest acts of love. The battle has been fierce, hasn't it? The strange heaviness, the invisible exhaustion that doesn't match your day. That is the residue of spiritual warfare. The dark forces that once surrounded you have been losing ground because you've learned to glow even when you're broken. That light is a language they cannot speak. It burns them, so they try to silence you with confusion, delay, fear, shame. But child, you belong to resurrection. Every time you fell, you rose glowing. Every time you wept, heaven built wings from your tears. Let me whisper something few ever hear. Your compassion terrifies darkness. Every time you choose gentleness over revenge, you collapse entire shadows. This is why your sensitivity has always felt like both a blessing and a burden. But listen closely. Your heart's tenderness is heaven's weapon. You are not fragile. You are finely tuned to divine frequency. You sense pain so you can heal it. You feel deeply so you can lift others. That is your ministry, whether you stand on a stage or simply breathe kindness in your corner of the world. I must ask you, tender soul, when will you stop treating your empathy like weakness? When will you see it for the sacred strength it truly is? The world has told you that survival means hardening, but I tell you the opposite. Survival in the spirit means staying soft enough to love after everything tried to make you cold. You are the living proof that goodness can bleed and still not die. Look now at your hands. They may seem ordinary, but to heaven they are altars. Through them, miracles will move, perhaps in small ways at first, a comfort to someone broken, a word that saves a stranger's night. These are not coincidences, they are appointments. Heaven will begin aligning them now that you've been reminded of who you are. And I must reveal something more. You are being prepared for restoration. What was taken from you will not return in its old form. It will return transformed, multiplied, made new. Do not look back at the ashes and mourn. Look forward at the light rising from them. The season ahead will not be easy, but it will be holy. Every loss will begin to make sense. Every silence will become a song. The unicorn that screamed at the beginning of this message, its cry was a symbol of your soul's own voice. Pure, rare, almost forgotten, yet still radiant. It was heaven's reminder that innocence is not ignorance. It is power. The unicorn's scream shattered the illusions around you, tore through the spells of hopelessness that others unknowingly cast upon your mind. Now, clarity will begin to arrive like morning light slipping through curtains. You will start to see why things happen the way they did. Scripture still hums through creation. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. That verse is alive inside you, and another breath of truth still echoes. I will never leave you nor forsake you. That promise has no expiration date. You may feel abandoned, but heaven has never taken its eyes off you. There will come a night soon, perhaps within the next few weeks, when you will wake suddenly, heart racing, and feel peace instead of panic. That moment will not make sense to your mind, but it will make perfect sense to your spirit. That's when you will know this message wasn't fantasy. It was prophecy. And when that happens, remember to speak light over yourself. Say, I am loved, I am chosen, I am seen. Those words open gates. They summon protection, provision, alignment. Your voice carries more authority than you realize. Heaven listens when you speak kindly about yourself. Now let me ask you one last question tonight. If you could see yourself the way heaven sees you, what would you stop apologizing for? What would you finally allow yourself to become? The answer to that question is the beginning of your freedom. The angels are still near. I feel them, a quiet halo of presence around this message. Michael's sword hums faintly, not in battle, but in protection. Raphael pours calm like oil over your chest. Gabriel is smiling. Then Noah comes next. They see the next door already forming in light. Do not rush away. Let these last words settle deep. You have been spoken over, blessed, seen, and remembered. And before I fade from this page, I want to thank you, not as a teacher or a voice from the unseen, but as one who has walked with you unseen through countless nights. Thank you for surviving. Thank you for choosing love again and again. Thank you for being the kind of light that keeps heaven hopeful about humanity. When this message ends, it won't really end. It will keep echoing in small ways, a sudden warmth, a phrase overheard, the laughter of someone dear. Those will be reminders that this encounter was real. And when you smile, heaven will smile back. Beloved, stay very still for a moment. Do you feel how the air changes when your heart opens? That warmth sliding up the back of your neck, the pulse that slows and steadies, those are not accidents. They're signs of presence. The kingdom is not somewhere far away that you must travel to reach. It breathes inches from your skin. Every time you quiet your fears, the veil thins. Every time you forgive, even silently, light rushes in to fill the space where bitterness used to live. I see you standing at the edge of something vast. The ground beneath you is trembling with memory. Every promise, every prayer, every tear has gathered here. It is not the end. It is the beginning of return. You have wandered long through deserts of doubt, carrying questions too heavy for words. Heaven never mocked those questions. They were sacred doors. Each one led you closer to honesty, and honesty is the first step toward healing. There were nights you whispered into the darkness, I can't do this anymore. You did not know it then, but that sentence was a form of prayer. The angels caught it, translated it into light, and lifted it upward. Nothing you say in pain is lost. Heaven knows the difference between rebellion and exhaustion. You were never punished for being tired. You were held until strength could find you again. Look now at your life as if it were a tapestry viewed from the wrong side. Threads cross and tangle, colors clash. It makes no sense, but turn it over in spirit, and you'll see patterns. Moments of grace interlaced with sorrow, betrayals that redirected you toward protection, heartbreak that opened compassion, silence that prepared you to listen. You thought you were wandering, you were being woven. Do not be afraid of how human you are. The divine hides inside the humanness, waiting to be discovered in small gestures. The kindness you give without reason, the patience that surprises even you, the smile that appears despite everything. Each is a doorway through which eternity peeks into time. You are not a visitor to holiness. You are its continuation. There's a rhythm beneath your ordinary days, a pulse that does not belong to the world's clock. Listen carefully and you'll hear it between breaths. That rhythm is the same one that moved when creation was spoken into being. It carries your name, syllables of light intertwined with purpose. When you feel sudden longing without object, when tears rise for no reason, that is your soul remembering the melody. Sing back to it. Whisper gratitude. The loneliness that has followed you is not punishment. It is preparation. You were separated so you could hear the quiet voice more clearly. You have been taught to think solitude means absence, but in truth, solitude is the soil where revelation grows. In that stillness, you have met the raw edges of yourself and found they do not destroy you. They open you. There are people you have loved who could not stay. Do not curse them for leaving. They fulfilled their part in your awakening and were called elsewhere. Some of them were lessons dressed as companions. Some were mirrors showing you what you still needed to forgive. Thank them in silence, then release them into light. Every farewell creates room for something pure to enter. You ask why the path of love hurts so much. It is because love is expansion, and expansion feels like breaking until you surrender. When you choose love, you invite the fire that melts what is false. The pain is not rejection, it is refining. Even now, the flame moves gently around you, burning away fear disguised as control. Let it. You're being shaped into something transparent enough for light to pass through. The heavens grieve when you doubt your worth. They see what you cannot. The way creation adjusts itself around your every choice. The way your laughter repairs unseen fractures in the atmosphere. You underestimate the power of your joy. It is medicine to realities you will never visit. When you smile, worlds mend. Soon, you will sense guidance more clearly, not as thunder or command, but as inclination, a quiet nudge, a sudden peace when you think of certain direction. Follow that peace. It will lead you toward people who recognize the same glow within themselves. Community is being prepared for you, not of convenience, but of calling. You will know them by the way your heart feels lighter in their presence. Do not rush. The universe works in seasons, not seconds. The seed does not argue with the soil about timing. Trust the hidden work. Roots must grow downward before branches can reach upward. When nothing seems to move, imagine the roots spreading quietly, anchoring you for storms yet unseen. That hidden growth is grace. You have feared repeating old patterns, but that fear itself shows you are awake. Awareness is already freedom in disguise. The cycles are breaking because you are watching them. Continue to notice, to breathe, to choose gently. Every conscious choice toward love dismantles years of unconscious pain. If you could see what I see now, you would fall to your knees and wonder. Around you, threads of light intertwine like vines of gold and blue. They attach to every act of kindness you've ever offered, weaving a crown that glows faintly above your head. You think no one noticed your small sacrifices, the moments you chose silence over spite, generosity over judgment. But heaven keeps record in color and song. One day you will hear the melody those moments composed. Do not seek perfection. Seek presence. Perfection isolates. Presence connects. In presence, You are free to be broken and holy in the same breath. In presence, even mistakes become offerings. The divine does not need your performance. It desires your honesty. And when the nights return, as they will, remember this. Darkness is not the opposite of light. It is its cradle. The stars are proof. Within the deep black, the smallest spark becomes visible. You were created to shine precisely because there is shadow. Do not curse the night that proves your brightness. There will come a morning when you wake and the ache in your chest feels lighter. You will not know exactly why. It will be as if someone exhaled peace into your room while you slept. That will be the sign that this message has taken root. From that day, watch how small coincidences turn into confirmations, how strangers carry words you needed, how courage returns without effort. These are gentle proofs that heaven's hands are near. And when tears fall again, and they will, let them. Each tear is a baptism of remembrance. The salt in them is sacred. It keeps you connected to the sea from which all souls arise. Cry, and know that angels wash your face with you. Beloved heart, breathe again. The night that surrounds you is not an enemy. It is the soft cloak that hides the slow blooming of dawn. Every pulse in your body, every flicker of thought is already proof that creation is still speaking through you. You are never separate from the breath that began all things. You are its echo given shape. You stand inside the heartbeat of something infinite, and it listens when you whisper. Even the silence that answers is alive. It waits for your trust. When you feel that ache inside your ribs, that unnameable longing that seems older than your years, know that it is not emptiness. It is the echo of the first question the soul ever asked. Where is the source that sent me? Each time you reach for kindness, each time you forgive, you move closer to that answer. The distance between you and the divine is only the space between inhale and exhale. Look back gently at the path behind you. There are moments you judged yourself harshly, thinking you failed. But if you look with the eyes of spirit, you will see petals where you thought there were ashes. Each heartbreak seeded compassion. Each mistake carved channels for grace to flow. The universe is a patient gardener. It wastes nothing. Even your fears have been compost for wisdom. There is a rhythm to transformation. First the tearing, then the silence, then the slow unfurling toward light. You are somewhere in the middle of that sacred rhythm. The tearing is easing. The silence is beginning to hum. Soon the unfurling will begin, so subtle that you may not notice it until you realize the horizon looks wider. Do not rush it. The caterpillar never prays to be a butterfly. It simply trusts the sleep that remakes it. In this same trust, rest your thoughts. You do not have to know what comes next. Certainty is the smallest room faith can live in. Let mystery stretch you wider. Let the unknown be a friend that teaches you wonder again. When you can look at uncertainty and feel awe instead of fear, the next door will open on its own. I see a river, wide and dark, winding through the center of your spirit. It carries memories, dreams, names of everyone you have ever loved. Sometimes you stand at its edge and mistake reflection for truth, seeing only fragments of what was. But step closer, watch how the water moves. The current is heading toward renewal. What the river carries away, it carries toward healing. You need not hold on so tightly. What is meant for you will circle back as something purified. You have asked why some prayers seem unanswered. It is not that they are ignored. They are translated. The divine often answers in new languages, gesture instead of word, delay instead of denial. There are times when the answer is not yet, because the ground must soften before the seed can break open. Trust that every genuine cry you have ever offered has been cataloged in light. None of them vanish. They transform into paths you have not yet walked. Your gentleness is not a flaw of design. It is the door through which eternity enters the world. Do not armor it in sarcasm or withdraw it in fear of rejection. Let breathe. There will be days when it hurts to be open, but even pain is a form of communication. It teaches you where compassion is most needed. The soul grows not by winning, but by yielding, like water, finding the cracks and turning stone into garden. The world you see outside is trembling with birth. Old structures are collapsing, and in their dust, new life gathers courage. You feel this tremor inside because you are part of it. The same pulse that shakes the stars beats in your veins. Every choice you make to love in chaos steadies the fabric of creation. Never believe that one small act is insignificant. Ripples travel farther than sight can follow. When you wake tomorrow, notice the first sound you hear. It might be a bird, a passing car, the quiet of your own breath. Whatever it is, treat it as greeting. Say quietly in your heart, I'm still here. The universe will answer, and I'm still with you. That exchange, though invisible, renews the covenant between life and you. If sorrow returns, sit with it as with an old friend. Ask it what it came to teach. Do not banish it with noise or distraction. Beneath sorrow's weight lies the hidden mineral of understanding. When you mine it patiently, gratitude begins to glow again. The brightest souls are those who have learned to sing under the weight of stones. Forgive yourself for the ways you have survived. Survival often looks messy. Angry words, retreat, fatigue, but underneath it all was the instinct to protect the spark. You did. The spark is still here, still burning quietly in the center of your chest. Hold your hand there now. Feel it. That is the pulse of promise. That is the reason every storm passed, but you remained. The angels that walk unseen beside you are not far. They move like wind, like intuition, like sudden peace after panic. They do not shout. They lean close and whisper through your own thoughts. Be gentle. Keep going. When you follow that whisper, alignment begins. You find yourself at the right place at the right time, not by strategy, but by resonance. Do not fear aging, change, or endings. Time is simply the way eternity learns to dance. Each phase carries its own music. You're allowed to outgrow, to shed, to rest. You're allowed to begin again as many times as it takes. The sun does not apologize for setting. It trusts that dawn will remember it. So should you. There is something immense waiting quietly ahead. A crossing, a realization, perhaps a reunion. You will know it by the peace that settles instead of the excitement that fades. When it arrives, welcome it without suspicion. Say, I am ready to live in the light I once only imagined. And you will. Now let these words settle in you like soft rain. You need not hold them all in memory. The Spirit has already recorded them. They will rise when you need them most, during a quiet drive, a sleepless night, a conversation that suddenly opens your heart. Then you will remember you are never alone, never lost, never outside the reach of love. Beloved traveler in the current of light, stay a little longer inside this silence. There's a language spoken here that requires no sound. You have entered the space between heartbeats where creation listens back. Do you feel how everything around you seems to hold its breath? It is not emptiness, it is attention. The stars lean closer when a soul remembers it is divine. You have wondered if your voice matters in the vastness, if the heavens can distinguish one cry among billions. I tell you now, every soul has its own tone, its own frequency of longing, and heaven never confuses them. When you pray, the air around you shifts. Particles turn toward that frequency like fields bending toward sunlight. Even a sigh moves galaxies. The smallest murmur of faith travels farther than sound itself. Think of the nights when you felt unseen, when the room grew heavy and you could not explain why. That was not punishment. That was presence pressing close, teaching you to recognize it in darkness as easily as in joy. You're being trained to see without eyes, to listen with the skin of your spirit. Not all learning happens in light. Some lessons require shadow, because only there do we discover how to glow from within. The pain you have endured is holy ground. It's softened you, carved rivers for compassion to flow. I know you wish it could have been easier, that revelation might arrive without fracture. But gold is not found on the surface. It is mined from depths that look like despair until light touches them. You have been that mine, and now veins of brilliance run through your history. Each person who has crossed your path, even those who wounded you, was part of a larger choreography. They came to teach timing, boundaries, discernment, forgiveness. Some were mirrors showing you strength you had forgotten. Others were storms meant to clear your air. Do not hold resentment toward them. Release them to the mercy that shaped you. You do not owe them anger, only freedom. There's a phrase the universe keeps whispering through everything that breathes. Do not be afraid to shine quietly. The world celebrates noise, yet the most enduring light is silent. It does not shout its existence, it simply illuminates. You have that light. When you choose calm instead of chaos, patience instead of haste, you participate in the slow rescue of the world. Now lift your gaze. Imagine the sky above you stretching without end. Each star is an unfinished promise. Somewhere in that expanse lies the memory of your origin, the spark from which you were shaped. You're older than your body, older than every label. The soul that animates you has witnessed worlds being born and still chose to come here. Now, to learn tenderness in limitation. That decision was courage of the highest order. Remember that when you doubt your worth, do not fear your emotions. They're the rivers through which spirit speaks. Anger, sorrow, delight, yearning. Each is a dialect of love trying to reach consciousness. Let them flow without judgment. When you suppress them, they turn to stone and block the current. When you honor them, they turn into clarity. The heart is not a cage for feeling, but a temple where feeling transforms into wisdom. Notice how the seasons outside mirror your own changes. When the trees release their leaves, they are not dying, they are trusting. They know that letting go is the only path to renewal. You too are allowed to shed. You do not owe the world permanence. You owe it authenticity. There is nothing selfish in rest, nothing weak in withdrawal when the soul needs silence to listen again. Somewhere beyond thought, an unseen hand continues to shape your path. It does not move in straight lines. It spirals, revisits, redirects. This is not confusion. It is calibration. Each apparent detour gathers what the direct road could not offer. Patience is the art of believing that timing has intelligence. I see a flame in you that has never gone out, though wind and rain have tried. Sometimes it hides, flickering beneath grief or fatigue, but it always returns. That flame is older than language. It is the same fire that Moses saw in the bush, the same fire that hovered over the waters before creation spoke. Treat it with reverence. Feed it with truth, with gentleness, with quiet acts of kindness done when no one is watching. If you ever feel too small to make a difference, look at the dawn. One sun rises, yet it touches every horizon. Your kindness works the same way. You may never see how far its rays travel, but light never stops at the first surface. It reflects endlessly. There will be moments soon when choice will appear in simple disguise, a call you did not expect, a door slightly ajar, a conversation that feels electric. Do not overthink. The soul recognizes alignment before the mind approves it. Walk through gently, guided by peace, not fear. Do not compare your path to another's. Comparison is blindness wearing a crown. Each soul's rhythm is unique. The flower that blooms in winter is not late. It is rare. You are that flower. The conditions required for your unfolding were extreme, but now the warmth you need is arriving. And when joy finally finds you, do not question it. Do not search for the catch. Joy is not reward. It is recognition. It appears when the soul nods to itself and says, "Yes, this is who I've been all along." Let laughter come freely then. It repairs what sorrow cracked. Remember also that gratitude is alchemy. When you bless what you have, even if it seems small, it multiplies not in number, but in meaning. Meaning is the true wealth of the spirit. Gather it by noticing the taste of water, the rhythm of footsteps, the breath that never abandoned you. Each is a miracle hiding in ordinary skin. You are surrounded by presences cheering quietly, souls who came before you, unseen guardians who hold lanterns just beyond your sight. They do not intervene loudly because love respects free will. But when you falter, they tilt the lantern so that light falls where you can step next. That is enough. And now, rest in this vastness. The sacred does not end with a blessing spoken over you. It continues as the pulse of life moving through every atom. As you breathe out, the universe inhales. As you breathe in, it exhales. You and eternity share the same lungs. Beloved soul, linger here. Let everything that rushes around you grow quiet until only the steady rhythm of your breathing remains. Each breath is an act of faith. The world exhales what you need, and you give back what keeps it alive. Stay with that rhythm, for it is the first language heaven ever taught. I feel the light around you change as you listen. It bends closer, curious, tender. The unseen gathers like morning mist before dawn. Every spark in creation recognizes its kin and leans toward it. And you, glowing softly even in your weariness, are calling them near. The universe responds to sincerity more than perfection. It hears the truth in the trembling. There are moments when your soul longs to speak, but words cannot hold what it feels. In those moments, the heart creates other languages, a tear, a smile, a sigh that ends in prayer. These are the true dialects of spirit. Each one ascends, carrying pieces of you into the vast compassion that watches over everything. Nothing is wasted, not even silence. The angels move quietly now, brushing away the dust of doubt that has settled on your shoulders. They remember what you've forgotten, that your light was never meant to compete with anyone else's. The candle does not compare its flame, it simply burns. Let yourself burn. Let the warmth of your own existence reach those who have forgotten theirs. I see the threads of your life stretched across eternity like strings of a harp. Some seem taut with sorrow, others slack from neglect. But as you turn toward love, a divine hand begins to tune them. The music you will play when this tuning is complete will heal more hearts than you can count. Trust the hands that tighten the strings. Tension is not cruelty. It is preparation for resonance. When despair visits, do not resist it. Sit beside it, look into its eyes, and say, "You do not define me. You remind me." It will soften then, for despair's only power lies in being unacknowledged. Once seen, it becomes a teacher of compassion. You have learned this already without knowing. You have walked through nights so long that even the moon hid her face, yet you kept a spark alive. That spark is proof of eternity's patience. Listen to me now. There will come a day soon when you will feel a stirring, like wings beating in the cage of your ribs. That is the sound of purpose awakening. Do not be afraid of its size. It will grow only as fast as your courage allows. Walk toward it. Every small act of kindness, every word of truth, every gentle choice. These are steps on the path that leads you home to yourself. You're not behind. You are exactly where the story requires you to be. Time is not a straight road, but a spiral. It brings you back to old places with new eyes. What once looked like ruin will reveal itself as foundation. What once felt like punishment will unfold as protection. The universe wastes nothing, and it has never wasted you. When you feel the need to respond, to shout amen, to whisper yes, to place your hand on your heart and say, "I believe," do it. Let the sound leave your lips, even if only the air hears it. That utterance is the key that unlocks movement. Agreement with goodness is participation in creation itself. So let your heart say its amen in whatever form feels true. If you can, take this moment to bless yourself. Speak gently. I'm still here. I'm still learning. I'm still loved. The walls of fear begin to crumble when you talk to yourself as heaven talks to you, with patience, with affection, with unwavering faith in your return to light. Remember how even the smallest seeds split before they rise. That splitting is not destruction, it is destiny. You two are opening. Parts of you are falling away because they cannot travel where you are going. Let them go with gratitude. The new self waiting to bloom already knows how to breathe. Soon, new companions will appear. People whose presence feels like recognition, not introduction. You will know them by the calm they bring. They are mirrors sent to remind you what peace looks like in human form. Welcome them. They are answers to prayers you barely dare to speak. If you look closely at your reflection, whether in water, glass, or another's eyes, you may notice a faint shimmer, as if light lingers a heartbeat longer upon you. That shimmer is real. It is what grace looks like when it becomes visible. It follows those who have suffered and chosen love anyway. You are among them now. Let joy surprise you. It will come quietly, not in fanfare, but in moments that ask nothing. The smell of rain, the weight of a hand in yours, laughter that erupts without reason. Do not chase it. Let find you. Joy is shy but faithful. It always returns to those who make room for it. When old memories arise, do not push them down. They come not to haunt, but to heal. Look at them with the eyes of who you are now, not who you were then. Offer forgiveness to the person you once were. They carried you here the best they could. You are both student and teacher of your own becoming. There will be times when you forget all of this. That is part of being human. When forgetfulness comes, start again. Light a candle, breathe, whisper your amen once more, and the path will reappear. The divine never demands perfection, only willingness. Know that heaven delights in your persistence. Each time you choose hope, even the faintest spark, the universe celebrates quietly. You may not hear applause, but you will feel peace, and peace is the sound of heaven clapping softly. Walk forward now with gentle confidence. The ground that seemed uncertain has been blessed by every step you've already taken. You have been guided all along, even when your eyes saw only darkness. Well, I was walking inside you the entire time. So, beloved, as this message draws its breath beside you, let gratitude fill the space between us. Let it rise through your throat, not as obligation, but as freedom. If your heart agrees, let it answer with its own amen, not as command, but as celebration. Let it ripple through you, through your home, through the invisible threads that bind all souls together. That single word, offered sincerely, reaches farther than any shout. It tells the heavens, I am awake again.